Broncos country, welcome back inside the UC Health Training Center for another episode of Broncos Now. Team reporter and host Sydney Jones here. And coming up on today's episode, we'll hear from head coach Nathaniel Hackett as he gives the final injury report ahead of the Broncos' Week 15 matchup versus the Arizona Cardinals. Plus, Broncos lead writer Aric DiLalla joins me here inside the Broncos podcast studio for a game preview. All that and more coming up. As the Broncos are set to face the Arizona Cardinals this Sunday at Empower Field at Mile High, head coach Nathaniel Hackett announced today that Russell Wilson passed concussion protocol, but it will be backup quarterback Brett Rypien that gets a start this Sunday. Take a listen to Coach Hackett's statement.
Russell Wilson has passed the concussion protocol. With that being said, as an organization, we've decided to give him another week to get ready, and he's ready to go for the Los Angeles Rams. Russ is one of our ultimate competitors in this game. He's unbelievable. We informed him of the decision. He's not happy with it. He wants to be out there and play. He's very, very competitive, as we all know, and wants to compete for this team and be out there. And we as an organization, after discussing and talking throughout this entire week, have decided it's best for our organization. It's best for Russell. And we talked about this from top all the way to the bottom. So we looked at every single thing and just want to give him another week to get ready. We're very confident in Rip, very excited about Rip and this opportunity to go against the Arizona Cardinals.
We also heard from quarterback Brett Rypien today as he detailed his reaction to the news.
Not exciting that Russell, is obviously injured and, recovering, but I know he's doing better, and I'm just excited for the opportunity. Always excited when you get to play. Such a blessing to be in this position, and going out, and my only focus is to try to get a win on Sunday.
Coach Hackett has preached all week about the importance of player safety and spoke today on what went into the decision.
For us, he looks great out there. He's been great. He's been in meetings. He's been doing everything great. He's passed all the concussion protocol, done all that stuff just as an organization. We talked about it, and we looked at it, and we just want to do what's best. Player safety is so important to us, and we just want to do what's right for him in this situation.
Coach Hackett went on to discuss the type of opportunity this is for Brett Rypien and the experience he will gain.
He played that last game versus the New York Jets. I thought he did a fine job. Put us in position to be able to have a chance to tie the game at the end. And we wanted to see what he can do, and all the experience he can get is fantastic for him.
Rypien said he's prepared all week as if he were going to be the starter this weekend, and talked about how he hopes to build off his previous performances.
Yeah, well, the Jets game, we just gotta be better in the red zone, I think. We had some opportunities, I thought, to put up some more points. I thought we had a chance to win that game and ultimately came up short. And then last week, kind of a crazy scenario coming in there. So, for me, it's just trying to take it one play at a time, keeping a small focus and doing what I do best.
We saw on Sunday versus the Chiefs, Rypien connect with Jerry Jeudy in the back of the end zone for Jerry's third touchdown of the game. We've seen over the years how they've built that chemistry.
Jerry's been here for 3 years now. So when he was a rookie, I remember we were able to get a lot of reps together. During that training camp during COVID, and just a guy that I've always trusted. I think he's one heck of a player. He does a great job in man coverage, getting open. He's very trustworthy. My first touchdown pass I ever threw was the first one that he caught, and he went over a guy to catch the thing. So I think that builds a rapport right there when you see a guy can do that and go make a play for you. So we just want to continue to build on that.
And now let's take a look at the rest of today's injury report. Coach Hackett ruled out wide receiver Courtland Sutton and wide receiver Kendall Hinton. Defensive end Draymond Jones, fullback and tight end Andrew Beck, linebacker Dakota Allen, guard Dalton Reisner, and defensive tackle DJ Jones were all listed as questionable. Now joining me here inside the Broncos podcast studio for a game preview is Broncos lead writer Aric DiLalla. Aric, appreciate you joining me today. It's been kind of a crazy week.
It has been.
Headquarters.
It really has been.
Yeah. Well, a lot to talk about today, Aric. As you know, Coach Hackett announced that Russell Wilson did pass concussion protocol, but it will be Brett Rypien that starts Sunday. They're taking the safe approach. What was just your reaction to the news?
Yeah, I thought it was a smart move. Obviously, you want to see Russell go out there and continue his momentum. Obviously, he wants to be out there, but I think you've got to take the long-term approach here. And concussion, a head injury, it's a big deal. It's a serious issue. I like that the Broncos are taking a cautious approach, and it shouldn't really matter if you're 10-3 and you're in playoff contention, or if you're 3-10. But certainly right now, there's nothing to be gained from having Russell Wilson out there from a practical standpoint, a standing standpoint. You've been eliminated from the playoffs. But either way, you've got to take the cautious approach with your franchise quarterback and really with any player. And, it's easy in this business, Sydney, to say, hey, let's fight through an injury. Let's just get out there and play. For the team to say, whoa, let's hold on a little bit. Let's make sure that we've got Russell Wilson's best interests and at heart and you protect him almost from himself because, he wants to go out there.
Right.
So, the fact that they were able to do that and say, we're going to get you ready for Los Angeles in a couple of weeks and you'll be ready to go then. I think it's a good compromise. I think it's good that he's out of the concussion protocol, obviously. It shows that he's healed. He doesn't have to worry about that next week.
Right.
But I think it's a smart move not to play him this week.
Yeah, player safety is certainly the most important, number one priority here. Aric, we heard from Brett Rypien a little bit earlier in the show. He said he's been preparing all week like he would be the starter, just mentally preparing, being out on the practice field in that way. Aric, what do you think Brett can really build on, looking back at his past few performances as, he just continues to prepare for the Cardinals this Sunday?
Yeah, I think Brett does some good things, and he moved him down the field. Or not down the field, but was able to score a touchdown in the red zone.
Yeah.
It looked like they were going to have a chance after the Josie Jewell interception to put some things together. I think he's just got to be a little more patient out there. He can make the throws. He's got a pretty decent arm, so he's got an understanding of the offense. All those things are important. He's got good chemistry with Jerry Jeudy that we saw all the way back to the New York Jets game back in 2020. Obviously, last week, big catch. And then against the Jets, I think Jeudy had some nice receptions as well. So there's definitely some chemistry there, but Brett just can't try to do too much. And this is a game where you're going to have to rely on your defense. You're going to have to play maybe a little bit more conservatively than you would with Russell. But let's not forget, during training camp and the preseason, they still took shots down the field with Brett Rypien. So I do think we'll see a few of those. Certainly he took them against the Jets. Tried to find Cortland Sutton at the end of the game on a go route there on the right side. So they'll take their chances at times, but I think overall you might not see the 30-point explosion that maybe if Russell Wilson was able to come out and play and kind of build on last week, you could have seen. But I have enough faith in Brett that I think it's possible for the Broncos to still pull out a win.
Aric, you mentioned just Russell wanting to play. Of course, he's a true competitor, so he always wants to go out there and play. We heard Coach Hackett and Brett Rypien both say that. I know you had the opportunity to talk with Russell after practice in the locker room. What did he have to say about it?
Yeah, Russell talked to a few reporters and just kind of said, hey, I want to be out there. I cleared the protocol. I'm always going to want to be out there and play. Doesn't matter if the playoffs are on the line or not. It's kind of in him that he should just always be out there with his teammates, and I respect that perspective. I admire that perspective. I think it's actually, if it were up to him, that should be the mentality you want because I think you're always proving yourself to your teammates, to the fan base, to yourself. So those are all important things. But at the same time, he's going to help Brett Rypien. I'm sure, you saw him against the Jets be on the sideline with the headset on. Yeah. I would guess that he'll have a similar type role. We'll have to see if it's a headset or not. But certainly, I think he'd be there to help out Brett as he tries to win this football game. And this guy, he catches a lot of grief for whatever reason, but he does at all times whatever he possibly can to help his football team. And I think you'll see that on Sunday, even though he's not out there.
Aric, you mentioned just Jerry Jeudy and Brett Rypien's chemistry that we've seen over the years. Jerry's coming off a career game. How do you think Jerry can, take that momentum, continue his momentum from the last game into this weekend, despite it being Brett?
Yeah, obviously things are still tough without Cortland Sutton, without KJ Hamler, with all the missing pieces on offense, but maybe they found something with Jerry and moving him to a new position and really still moving him all over the field. He's able to do a lot of different things, but I would imagine the Broncos will try to feed him the football. He's a guy that I think we've seen get some more chances on third downs and big moments, and he came up big, obviously, against the Chiefs. I like his chances to do it again, but I think from anybody, and it's not just Jerry, consistency is what you're looking for here. One big game is not enough to kind of just change the tone on the season. You've got to do it consistently, and so if Jerry can go out and this is a situation where a really good receiver, you've got to help your quarterback.
Yeah,
you've got to make plays when you have the opportunity. If there's a ball to Jerry, he's got to catch it. He can't afford to have drops. Can't afford to miss the ability to pick up extra yards. Right. There are times when your quarterback helps you. This is one of those weeks, I think, where he's got to help his quarterback.
Well, Aric, we took a look at the injury report a little bit earlier in the show. Cortland Sutton, Kendall Hinton, they're both out. Draymond Jones, Dalton Reisner, they're questionable, just to name a few guys there. Another tough weekend just on the injury front.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any easier any week, particularly on offense. We'll see Dalton limited all week. I wonder if he's able to make a jump and play this weekend. Draymond, I'm a little more worried about. Just he didn't practice all week. Normally you see guys get ruled out, but he did go to see a hip specialist. So maybe something that happened there allows him to potentially be ready. Not sure about that. And then another one to monitor, of course, DJ Jones, just with the illness and not practicing Friday, just will he be ready to go? Obviously, these are two undermanned teams at the quarterback position right now. They're both dealing with a lot of injuries. They're both struggling this season. And so to me, Cindy, it's less about, do you have this guy? Do you have this guy? More about the effort you play with. And I think from the Broncos standpoint, you've been pleased with what you've seen there. So maybe that at least can help outweigh some of the injuries.
Definitely. Yeah, Coach Hackett said today that he expects both Randy Gregory and Billy Turner to play this weekend. What would it mean just to get those two guys back?
Yeah, I mean, Billy, obviously a good, solid offensive lineman. I think that's what you hope for right now with the offensive line is just solid. You don't need spectacular, but just solid, or even somewhere close to it would be good. Randy, though, he's a heck of a football player. He's a beast. Excited to see him back out there. I would expect the Broncos would maybe manage his snap count a little bit. I wouldn't expect him to go all the way up to kind of a full workload right away, but get him in some third downs, let him set the edge a couple times. And I think, and I asked Ejiro Evero this, the Broncos defensive coordinator, on Thursday, does this help you get a better evaluation of guys like Baron Browning, guys like Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito? And he said, yeah, to some extent it does, because the other team can't necessarily, they've got to treat Randy as the number one. And so then you get less attention on Baron, and maybe that's kind of where he should be in that rotation. And so this is not just about these final 4 games. It's about what do you do moving forward in 2023. And part of that is figuring out your rotations. Where do we need help? Where do we not need help? Broncos can get a good sense of, are we in good shape with Randy Gregory, Baron Browning, Nick Bonito, or do we need to address this, through the draft or free agency or however?
Well, there's a lot to look forward to this weekend, Aric. We'll see what happens here. Appreciate you joining me today.
Should be fun.
Well, that'll do it for today's episode of Broncos Now, Broncos Country. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to see you all out in Power Field at Mile High this Sunday. But if not, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I will meet you right back here on the Broncos Podcast Network and YouTube on Monday following the game.